The Detroit Tigers are hosting the Negro Leagues weekend here in Detroit. And throwing out the first pitch is the president of Morehouse College. He joins us here in Studio 1452. Also joining us is my colleague Mark Hayes, World Times Media National News Director. But the man of the hour is Dr. David Thomas, president of Morehouse College. Dr. Thomas, it's great to have you here in studio with us.
Thank you. It's great to be here and great to be here in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. How exciting is it to be throwing out the first pitch here at the Tigers game?
It's extraordinarily exciting. I told my youngest son about it, and he asked me, "What did you do to be chosen to throw out the first pitch?" So all the things I've done still don't add up to throwing out the first pitch to one of my best critics who knows me well. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Yeah. And I came all the way here to Detroit just to do it. So, yeah.
Well, the Negro Leagues, it really honors, and this whole weekend really honors and celebrates players of past time, their contribution to the game of baseball. What inspires your participation for the Negro Leagues?
Well, first of all, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Mm. When I was born in 1956, the Kansas City Monarchs were the team for our community. And I can actually remember going to Monarchs games in the stadium that wasn't far from my house. And, my father telling me that Satchel Paige was better than any pitcher in the National or the American League. Wow. My sister-in-law actually was an administrator at the Negro League Museum there in Kansas City for several years. So I'm very familiar with the Negro Leagues and their ultimate contribution to sports in our country, and creating opportunities for African-American baseball players that would not have existed. Yeah.
Some of the game ticket purchases will go to support the Detroit HBCU network, and raising funding is key for educational institutions, right? And under your leadership, Morehouse raised a total that is higher than any other president in the history of the college. How fundamental is the financial support today for HBCUs?
It's critical. Yeah. I think the number one issue facing colleges like Morehouse is affordability. 60% of our students are Pell eligible. That means they come from families that can pay less than $5,000 toward their higher education. And in many of those cases, if not most, that number is zero. And so we have to be the source that makes that possible for future generations of men. And Morehouse's unique mission is the education and development of Black men who will go on to lead lives of leadership and service.
And speaking to that point, earlier this year, Morehouse announced a new program which will encourage Black men to complete their unfinished degrees. That is pretty awesome. I guess my question is, how do you envision the outcome and the impact that it will have on so many Black men across this country?
Well, it starts with increasing their opportunity. So today, 80% of the jobs that support a sustainable middle-class living require a 4-year college degree, 80%. So if you don't have it, that's likely to be used against you no matter how good the rest of your human capital is. Turns out there are 34 million Black men in America with some college credit who have never finished. That is more Black men that are actually in college today by a magnitude. Wow. So, when we got to thinking about Morehouse in the 21st century, one of the themes that came out of our strategic plan is called Morehouse Beyond Borders. And that's about Morehouse going beyond the 66-acre campus there in Atlanta and saying, how do we impact the world given our unique brand and capability? And part of our brand is that we are the good housekeeping seal for Black male excellence in higher education.
Yeah.
And our great capability is first-class education. So we're trying to take that to the world.
Yeah. We'll get to my colleague, Mark Hayes, in just a moment. But going beyond those 66 acres of the campus at Morehouse, you have used your platform as president to speak out on the persistence of systematic injustice. How important is it to you that Morehouse plays a role to help the nation address institutional racism?
Well, that has been Morehouse's role since its inception in 1867.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the first day Morehouse came into existence, 9 formerly enslaved Black men sat in a room, and the then founder of the college walked in and said, you are a human being. You can learn to lead and to serve. These 9 men had probably never heard that. That was a strike against systemic racism that devalues Black men. And we've been doing that nonstop, 24/7 for 154 years. And our most famous graduate is Martin Luther King. But at Morehouse, we're very clear that he's simply the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And some people know Morehouse because of Martin Luther King. And we say, without Morehouse, there would be no King.
Wow.
It's not an accident that he was produced, like so many others, in business and government and medicine. You know, I tell my guys now, the only thing we haven't produced is a president. And I know he's out there in my audience. Right?
Right.
You know, but we've done secretaries, CEOs, you know.
It's on the way.
It's on the way.
It's on the way.
It's on the way. It's on the way. And I think we've actually produced 1 president on the continent of Africa.
Let's get to my colleague, Mark Hayes, National News Director for Real Times Media, who joins us from Atlanta, Georgia. Mark.
Yeah, Dr. Thomas, what a pleasure to speak with you. I want to get back to the issue of affordability. Throughout history, of course, the HBCU has been there to provide that outstanding quality of education that you just talked about for those who look like us, African-American men and women. But talk to me a little bit about the challenges of keeping that education affordable, especially in a great city like Atlanta, where we see the price of housing and the ability for you to expand and to get more dormitory space and to keep up that first class level of education that I know you aspire to have each and every semester there that kids walk on campus. Talk to us about the struggles there, just keeping pace with the cost of providing a quality education.
Yeah, and it is a struggle. What it's requiring us to do, and I think we see more and more HBCUs like Morehouse looking at developing alternative streams of revenue so that we're not solely dependent upon tuition to subsidize our flagship programs. And at Morehouse, that's our residential program. And you just take, for example, as we speak, we're in the process of evaluating several potential public-private partnerships because Morehouse, like many HBCUs that are located in urban areas, we own choice land, but we don't have the balance sheet to develop it ourselves. And we're looking at those kinds of avenues. Our online program will be one that will generate another source of revenue and hopefully a surplus. And increasing our federal grants and research and partnerships with private companies to support our research programs and provide internships and externships for our students paid to help subsidize their educations. And we're working all those angles simultaneously. And the last is fundraising. And one of the great things I think we've seen in the since 2019, when Robert Smith at Morehouse College's graduation announced that he would relieve the debt for 400 men who were graduating that day from Morehouse. And that has spurred, relatively speaking, an avalanche of giving. HBCUs have gotten more 8-figure gifts in the last 2 years than in the prior 50 years. And Morehouse has been a beneficiary of of that largesse, but so have other historically Black colleges and universities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of fundraising, your Candle in the Dark gala each year is a phenomenal success for you, and I would imagine one of the flagship fundraisers that you all conduct each and every year. And what you have done is created a spirit of giving among Morehouse men. And I know that many of our HBCUs have that challenge of imparting that spirit when people leave and go out and have success to come back and give. Morehouse has done a phenomenal job instilling that spirit. How do we get that contagious energy to spread to other HBCUs to help them understand, hey, giving back really, really matters and it's really, really important to our mission?
Well, the good news, Mark, is I think we're already seeing it at a number of our HBCUs. I mean, the Claflin College in South Carolina is actually has among the top 10 giving rates across all liberal arts colleges in the country. And other schools are following that. I've been in Morehouse 3.5 years, and my experience from talking to many alumni was that the college wasn't clear about the ask and how important it is. And as we become clearer about it, we've more than quadrupled our alumni giving and significantly increased the percentage of alumni who are giving. And I'll just give you one last example. This past May, we had a Giving Tuesday of our own, not the National Giving Tuesday, and we raised over $3 million in 24 hours. Wow. 80% of that was from alumni, followed by parents. Grateful parents and grateful alumni. And what I like to say is HBCUs have been very good at teaching obligation, meaning you're obligated when you leave these schools to go make a difference in your community. We haven't been very good at teaching gratitude, meaning, but for this experience, you would not be able to go do that. And you should be grateful. And you show that gratitude by supporting the next generation. And the more we've put that message out there, rather than resistance, we've gotten acceptance.
Wow. All right, Andre, back to you.
All right. Well, I think we will wrap this up on this final note. Whenever your tenure concludes at Morehouse College, what do you hope the headlines will read about you, your career, and your life?
My career and my life, or my presidents? How big do you want to go with this one, Andre? This is a big question.
Let's go all big. What do you hope that your legacy, you look back and the headlines will read about you?
I hope my legacy is that I was fundamental in developing others to go on to do great things. I want my legacy to be the legacy that I was a great mentor and a great developer of people, and in particular of Black men. I also want my kids to say about me what I would say about my father, which is that he was there for me whenever I needed him. and that I provided leadership at an important time and did it with integrity, though not perfect. That's what I would want people to say about me.
I love it. It's awesome. In the meantime, you've got a baseball game to get to.
In the meantime, I got a baseball team in the first pitch to
Absolutely
throw out.
right.
I don't know if I'll hit home plate, but I look the part.
You absolutely do, as always. Thank you so much for joining us here in Studio 1452. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, and thank you guys, and thank you for all the work you do and the integrity that you bring every day to Black-centered journalism in this country. I don't think enough people actually understand the work that you guys do that flows out of Detroit and Atlanta and the other properties, media properties that you control and influence. So keep up the good work. Our community needs people who are bringing the voice of the community with the interests of the community in mind.
Absolutely. We appreciate that.
All right.
President of Morehouse, Dr. David Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Mark Hayes, our correspondent from out of Atlanta, Real Times Media National News Director. This has been a Studio 1452 presentation. I'm digital anchor Andre Ash.